is a piece of apple. This apple tree came down from my grandma's yard, and luckily I saved it for my dad, threw it in the burn pile. But this, just a whole log, it wasn't a very big tree, so it's naturally got some cracks that I'll deal with. And it was, for the most part, round. Some of it was pretty punky, but here I'm just rounding the outside of it and getting started. And here I'm getting the tenon shaped and getting that started also. And what I did here was just, I took down to the tenon size, and just to be able to see once it was flat how much I'd need, and just chucking it up to make sure it's a good hold, and go back and finish parting off that little small section right there. And this is a Japanese flush cut saw. Those things they're just great to have. And what I'm using here is my Carter and Sons 3/4 inch bowl gouge. That thing, I mean, it eats some serious wood and takes a beating. And here, since I got most of the bark off, I'm just checking for cracks, punky spots, stuff that I need to give some attention to with some CA glue. What I'm doing here is taking the end of it down. The tailstock didn't have a good flat spot, so I was just taking it down to where that tailstock could stick in there real good and get a nice good hold. What I'm doing here is just saturating that spot. It was, I could tell from the end, it was punky, and you could see all that smoke coming off that spot. It was horribly punky. I mean, it was gassing off, and if you ever experienced that before, that stuff will wreck your nose and eyes also. And also, yeah, I do use a lot of CA glue. This is thin. I think it's Masters Craft or something like that. I get it off Amazon, like $25 for an 8 ounce bottle. But I got the thin, medium, and thick, and the spray activator. So I just don't like pieces having a chance of cracking, snapping, breaking, or giving any kind of issues. Here I'm just starting to take that end down. When I'll hollow one out, I'll hollow it about halfway, just so it's just not all that extra distress. This is my Carter & Sons. I think it's a half-inch bowl gouge. That's the only gouges that I've got. Um, it's just a great steel. I did my research on my bowl gouges before I ever bought any, just looking at the different types of steels they use. And I highly recommend M42. It's a breeze to sharpen and it stays sharp. It can put up with some heat, especially with those Carters. I haven't tried any other companies that said they were M42s, but those are just awesome. I love them.
So I just came up with another abomination, like my lathe. So I had a buddy of mine give me, actually here it is, right here, the Robert Sorby hollowing rig that comes with the arm brace that locks on here. It's got the high-speed steel cutter on the end. So I was going to try to just weld on a piece of half-inch rod and stick inside of my Carter & Sons, because you can interchange these, just 2 Allen screws and it comes out. Didn't work very well, not flat on the bottom. Kept wanting to rotate in my hands. So I got to looking at this thing, because on that peach I just did, it was pretty tough. So it has a flat spot to keep it from rotating. Fair enough. I just took it to my grinder and put a flat spot. Just gave it a test run and it works better than this. So you get the high-speed steel cutter greatness with entry-level hollowing rig, which is actually working out great because normally you get the high-speed cutters on the more expensive ones. I cheated. All right, let me get back at it.
And here I'm just checking my clearances, seeing how everything looks. So you gotta do to practice that as you're going along, because sometimes you can catch a crack that you can seal up with glue before you have a 1-inch thick piece of a 10-inch bowl come loose, because that would be no fun. And here I'm just coring it out. I think that's like a 1-inch bit, and I swap out to a bigger one. I can't remember which size it was, but always check make sure that you're not going to go too deep. Last thing you want is to turn something into a funnel. And yes, as rough as that looked when I was boring that last one starting out, it was that rough. And here I'm doing the bottom half. I didn't finish it in one night. That's the reason why that top looks a little bit brown, because I went ahead and threw a coat of Danish wool in there, which I'll take that back off once I do the final and all the sanding also. And here I'm just doing a few final passes to get everything smoothed out, just to one final layer. Here I'm just finishing the bottom of this piece. Wasn't too sure what foot I was going to go with, but after seeing that shape of the top, it just kind of clicked in my head to look like this. And here what I'm doing is I'm just going to take some material out. That's a cuts all medium bit tungsten carbide. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the material out and then come through right here and start burning the insides and the edges. That way to give it a little bit character where those cracks are, so it's not just a crack that looks the same. And I got this itty bitty torch a while back. I figured it would work best for going inside of this crack. And knowing me, I was probably sending somebody on Instagram a video of doing it. Who knows? And here I'm just sanding to take a good bit of that char off. That way it's more of a fade and not so spread out. And it's just going back with the DA little sander bit on my drill and just touching up on a few places. And here I'm wiping it down with Danish wool, and that's my dog Lady. She's always around somewhere in the background. But I don't remember what type of apple tree this was. It just had some dark red, medium-sized ones, but this apple would have just been gorgeous. Every piece that I've turned of it, it's just got a bunch of color. Well, this is the finished product. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. And of course, my dog's trying to get in my lap again. So, till next time, see ya!